You know that you don't have the wherewithal to figure out where you are to anyone else. But as we've seen far too often, the irrational fear of black men caused the two law enforcement officers by the names of to fire multiple times into the vehicle and killing Aaron Bailey on the scene. The story wouldn't seem all too different if it hadn't been for less than 24 hours before that we saw another incident with a 30-year-old white man who likewise fled police, crashed his car, got out on foot, gave chase, and was later apprehended without a hair mussed on his head so that he could still look pretty for his mugshot picture. He was a felon. He was armed. He lived. Aaron Bailey's life was stolen. His life was not. Bailey was black.
That's right.
So yet, here again, we stand, letting the state of Indiana know, letting the city of Indianapolis know that Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
We're here for a simple reason. The thought process that when deaths happen every 20 years, it impacts the black community. But if you look at this crowd, you see that's not the case. This is a clear example of interest convergence. This was a Hoosier whose life was stolen from us. This was an Indianapolis resident whose life was stolen. Father, this was someone's brother, this was someone's son whose life was stolen. You will never get a chance to see his day in court because he was executed before he had an opportunity to stand trial. That is the persistent injustice that we are facing today. That is what we are lifting our voices to cry out against, but we are doing so united as a community. As Assata Shakur once said, there's a famous quote, I need you to repeat after me. It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
Louder. It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love and support each other.
We must love and support each other.
We have nothing. When I say Ashe, you say power. Ashe!
Power!
Ashe!
Power!
Ashe!
Power!
Ashe!
Power!
Ashe! Power is what they fear. It is the connection. It is that raised fist of solidarity. It is that same fist that they will make changes within their training curriculums. It is that same solidarity that has led the mayor to make a statement that they will make not just the use of force, but the it is held accountable not just by IMPD, but by Indianapolis citizens. This is just the beginning. They made these changes, they made these statements because we are not a that we the cows get back in the barnyard, and we will hold you accountable and make sure that this gets done. And there are many more individuals who will speak to that particular issue and why it is that we not let up today and made the drive. They are from Black Lives Matter Columbus.
Thank you. I just have a little statement today from Black Lives Matter Columbus. We chose to start a group organized by Brittany King. So you guys should come down. Months. So definitely come and see us, see what we're doing down there in Columbus. Leave the land of freedom until lives matter. Why is it that Black death is imprisonment? Do Black Lives Matter so? It's sentence in the eyes that I have insidious fear even seeing.
It's all right. You got this.
Black law-abiding citizen, and have the fear of my safety. Have large, white community. Color in the police department. Police officers that are in the suburbs that come and pick have no empathy or sympathy for the people they are policing. Empathy makes it easier to kill and assault brown and black people. All can live up to the high standards of black men, white men, Asian men, Native men, Hispanic men. Let's stop. All men are created equal, and women. I'm sick and tired of being not being valued by the system that's so-called land. Until lives like Aaron, Felipe, Mike, Saunders, and countless more matter to a larger society, we won't say forever and man. That's brutalized by the police force in the United States of America. No justice, no peace, they say. I say justice, no peace of mind. Like the great Martin Luther King Jr. said, we will overcome one day. I believe that day is upon us. We that are here and elsewhere have to continue to fight, to grow, continue to grow, continue to advance, and continue to dream for America. That's the dream I can believe in. That's my dream for America. In solidarity with you all today, and we will continue the community's fight for Aaron Bailey. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. Peace. Thank you.
Hello. My name is Joshua Cole, and I'm the Vice President of Don't Sleep.
And lost because of those false assumptions. It is not a just and equal society when our fears and biases and prejudices whether they are implicit or overt, isolate us from each other, creating this idea that the other is somehow bad or evil simply because we don't know who they are. This is a time for us to support our communities of color. This is a time for the LGBTQ community to say with one loud, clear, and united voice that we are all in this together. And that when there is injustice for one, there is injustice for all. It is time for the LGBTQ community to say that Black Lives Matter. And that Aaron Bailey's life matters. Saying this today is not enough. Saying it tomorrow is not enough, nor is next week, nor is next month. Sharing it on Facebook is not enough. We must open our hearts, we must open our minds, and listen to our brothers and sisters. We must listen to their pain and share their joy and their sorrow. It is only then that we can come together and unite as a community. Thank you very much. We cannot merely coexist with each other. We cannot merely tolerate each other. We must celebrate, we must understand, and we must value our unique and individual beauty, our unique and individual traditions, histories, and cultures. Then we can finally come together and talk about an equal and just society. Indy Pride calls for a fair, open, and transparent investigation into the shooting death of Aaron Bailey. Only then can we finally come together and begin to heal from this and many other tragedies that have befallen the community. And to everyone who feels the reality of racism as more than just a hashtag, we see you. We stand with you. Your life matters. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. Small disclaimer, it's huge for Indy Pride to come out here. And I'll tell you why. Not only because so often we see the narrative split between oppressed communities where they try to separate the LGBTQ community and the Black community. So that unity is important. Not only do we forget, again, it's Black Expo, but people forget that you can be Black and be a member of the LGBTQ plus community. There isn't such thing as intersectionality. It does exist. We see it. But also because there are several individuals here within the city that did not want us to gather today. They assumed that the presence of a multitude of activists and community leaders would lead to violence. Doesn't look too violent out here, does it? Even as this is Black Expo weekend, the thought and the fear and the constant presence of over-policing and militarized police walking down the streets with barricades and on every street corner on horseback and in overseer towers in the campus. That history of slave patrols that is linked to policing that we like to gloss over and forget. We have not forgotten. So we take exception to the idea, the thought that having a gathering of Black people will automatically equate in violence. That's the most anti-Black thinking that you could possibly have. We can talk about Sandra Bland. We can talk about Rakia Boyd. We can talk about Ara Rosser. We can talk about Mike Brown. We can talk about Eric Garner. We can talk about Tamir Rice. But the thought that this is the first time that a Black Lives Matter incident has happened in Indiana is a disrespect and a dismissal of individuals like Michael Taylor, of individuals like Mac Long. We're talking about individuals like Christopher Goodlove. This happened here. We talk about Sandra Bland, but we forget about Pensacola Shields. This has happened here. It happens here. It has been happening here. So don't police our protest to talk about violence without acknowledging the violence that is consistently happening to our brothers and sisters out here in the streets. We say that to mention the fact that because they thought there would be violence, there are several individuals who were scared to make a statement today. Indy Pride wasn't among them. Another group here locally who was not among them, I'm proud to introduce, is IndyCan. And bringing that message today, yeah, give it up for IndyCan. Speaking on behalf of that, let's give it up for Juan Manuel.
We, the Latino community, we believe Black Lives Matter. Sorry, because my accent is kind of funny. You wanna help me with translation? I'm gonna speak in Spanish. Mi nombre es Juan Manuel García, soy un líder con IndyCan, pertenezco a la Iglesia Católica de Santa Mónica. Yo y mi familia hemos vivido en Indianápolis por cerca de 15 años.
My name is Juan Manuel Garcia. I am part of St. Monica Catholic Church and a leader with IndyCan, and my family and I have lived in Indianapolis about 15 years.
Y estamos aquí para honrar la vida de nuestro hermano Aaron Bailey, que es parte de una congregación que participa con IndyCan.
And we're here to honor the life of Aaron Bailey, who is part of a congregation that belongs to IndyCan, Christ Church Cathedral.
Creo que podemos reimaginar o darle otro significado a la palabra santuario en nuestra comunidad aquí en Indianápolis el día de hoy.
And I believe that we can reimagine or give another meaning to the word sanctuary in our community in Indianapolis today.
Yo personalmente he experimentado dos paradas por la policía, paradas de tránsito en dos ocasiones, y no sentí el miedo en ese entonces como lo sentiría hoy en día si fuera parado por la policía.
I have experienced being stopped by the police for a traffic violation twice, but I did not experience the same fear at that time that I would have experienced today.
Hoy es diferente. Hay un inquilino en la Casa Blanca que le hizo creer a muchos que los latinos somos traficantes, somos asesinos, somos violadores, y somos rateros.
It's different today. We have an inhabitant in the White House who has spread the message that Latinos are drug traffickers, are rapists, are lawbreakers, are criminals.
Nos preocupa ahora que algunos oficiales del orden crean en esa narrativa y se vean más amenazados por nosotros y justificados en usar el uso de la fuerza.
The fear comes when we realize that our local law enforcement are buying into these narratives of fear and are then led to use force against us.
Los latinos también somos vulnerables a tener un encuentro con la policía que termine en abuso o en uso de la fuerza innecesaria.
Latinos today are also vulnerable to have an encounter with the police that ends in an abuse of the use of force.
Sentimos el dolor de la familia Bailey como nuestro propio.
We feel the pain of the Bailey family as if it were our own.
Debemos tener presente y no olvidar que hay una narrativa que intenta dividirnos, los latinos, la comunidad afroamericana, la comunidad LGBTQ, y el objetivo es ese, dividirnos para que no luchemos por el respeto a nuestra dignidad.
We have to remember that there is a narrative out there that is working very hard to divide African Americans, Latinos, and the LGBT community so that we can't fight together.
Tenemos que recordar que somos un solo pueblo, una sola lucha. One people, one fight.
Hey. We have to remember that we are one people, one fight.
El asesinato de Aaron Bailey nos muestra que la gente de color no tenemos el mismo valor que la gente blanca para los que tienen el poder.
We have to recognize that the killing of Aaron Bailey shows us again that people of color do not have the same value in our community as white people.
Wow.
Tenemos que enfrentar juntos esa realidad.
We have to confront this reality together.
Yes.
Entonces, febrero, 2,000 residentes de esta comunidad de Indianápolis estuvimos presentes en la iglesia San Felipe Neri para pedir por una ciudad de inclusión, una ciudad que proteja a todos, especialmente los más vulnerables. Entonces, son los que tienen el poder, que tienen que hacer que esta ciudad todos nos sintamos seguros, no atemorizados por ellos.
In February, over 2,000 residents of this city came together to ask that this become a city of inclusion. And we have to remember that this movement for sanctuary and solidarity includes all of us.
Como parte de esa reunión iniciamos el movimiento de santuario e iniciamos la línea de ayuda hotline para las personas que pueden tener un encuentro traumático con la policía, ya sea, puede ser ICE, puede ser la policía IMPD, que sientan que sus vidas están en riesgo por cualquier cosa. Esa línea es para ayuda de todos, para tener testigos.
So as part of this movement for sanctuary and solidarity, we have started a hotline called IndyCan Watch for anyone who is in a traumatic encounter with law enforcement, be it ICE or be it IMPD.
De esta manera vamos a asegurarnos que asesinatos como el de Aaron Bailey no pasen desapercibidos, que la comunidad sepa y que haya testigos.
By using this hotline, we can ensure that people like Aaron Bailey are not killed without the community knowing that this doesn't happen in silence and in secret.
Les pido a todos que saquen sus teléfonos. Vamos a guardar en nuestro celular un número de teléfono de la línea para llamar en caso de un incidente con la policía.
So I ask all of you to please get out your cell phones so that you can save this number, the number for the IndyCan Watch hotline, in case we need it. So we ask all of you to get out your cell phones. Hold it up in the air. And we're going to give you the hotline number if you don't have it already so that you can save that and pass the word. This is for anyone who has a traumatic encounter with law enforcement.
The number is 317-759-9474. Repeat, 317-759-9474.
Woo!
And you'll see there are some people with clipboards that are walking around that have a way you can sign up to show your support for this work. And also it comes with a little card that you can keep in your wallet with the hotline number, and then you can pass one on to someone else. And if you're interested in being a rapid responder to actually show up and be a moral observer to bring sanctuary to our streets, then you can sign up on one of the cards. So look for people that are walking around with the clipboards so you can be part of this movement.
Woo! It's our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
Thank you so much.
So there's another, we're going to go with the chant here. So in English, the people united will never be defeated, right? So the people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. Now you're going to learn a little bit of Spanish.
El pueblo unido jamás será vencido.
El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido.
Thank you. Let's give it up for him one more time.
There are so many groups in this city doing so much work for Black liberation.
Hallelujah.
And we are so thankful for all of the groups that do tireless work to hold the city, the lawmakers, the police officers, and everyone accountable. At this time, I would like to introduce Leah and Kyra from Indy 10, who will come and give us some words of encouragement and support.
Thank you for having us. I just want to say I'm sorry to the family. I'm sorry that this had to happen. I'm sorry that you're in this position today. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the family, and I'm sorry that you're in this position today. I wouldn't wish this on anyone. I wish that Aaron Bailey's name wasn't the hashtag, you know. I wish that we didn't have to know who he was. I wish he could just live a normal life without having to have been gunned down. I didn't prepare anything. I'm never prepared for things like this. They happen every few months, and honestly, I said the same thing every rally with a different name. The only thing I can really say is I'm sorry. You know, we're out here, we're still fighting. We're gonna continue to fight. It hurts me every day to know that somewhere else there's another Aaron Bailey that we don't know the name of, you know, someone else who doesn't have a hashtag because they might live in a town too small, or it just hasn't gone nationwide yet. I have 4 nephews, and today I was just looking at them. I just want the best for my 4 Black nephews, you know. I just want them to grow up and go to college and have families. I don't want to have to worry about them getting gunned down. I just want them to have a proper education. You see, violence looks a lot of ways. It doesn't just look like being gunned down in the street by an officer. It looks like not having access to proper education, not having access to health care. Where I live at right now, where we live, off of college, we live in a food desert, a food swamp, you know. There's food, but it's processed food or it's fast food, nothing, there's no access to nutritious food or anything like that. My car is broken down right now, so if I'm off of work and I need to get some type of food, I have to wait for someone to come and take me. I can't just walk to a grocery store. And think about a mother or a father with kids who don't have cars, like my mother, when I was growing up, didn't have a car, so we have to walk miles and miles to get to a grocery store. That's what we deal with here in Indianapolis, Indiana. That is also an act of violence. We need all these people here to join us when we're organizing around gentrification. when we're organizing around food deserts and food access and access to health care, and when Planned Parenthood is trying to get people out to so women can have access to proper health care. We need people out here organizing and coming with us to help research when there's bills and laws that we need to educate our community. We need to get out here, we need to canvass, knock on doors, and get our community educated. We need these people out here to join us, not just for when it's time for a rally, but before there's a hashtag. The day Aaron Bailey was murdered, I woke up at 9 o'clock in the morning, I had a text on the phone from a number I didn't even know, telling me that someone else had been shot in the city by IMPD. And I didn't know what to do. Like, I just, we are Black Lives Matter Indianapolis, but we just don't always have the answers. We don't always just know how to organize around things, and they just happen so quickly. And it's just trauma day in and day out. We hop online and we find out like another Black person has been killed somewhere across this world, and it's, it's traumatic. So we also need to be there to support each other during Black Joy. We need to support this family after this has died down, when the cameras have gone away. We need to make sure this family has access to things. Their children have access to health care and schooling. We need to make sure this GoFundMe. I hope people don't, if you're out here, I hope you donate it to the Aaron Bailey Fund. You can't just be here and just show up just so it looks good, take a picture with a sign. You have to actually do the work. You have to actually be an ally. Violence looks a lot of ways, and it looks like you also out here with the hashtag and with the picture, but not actually doing the work. It looks like erasure. It looks like silence. I see a sign, why silence is violence. I don't need for you just to be out here today. I need for you to talk to your co-workers, talk to your family members. I'm sorry. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much.
Aaron Bailey. Aaron Bailey had children. Aaron Bailey had brothers and sisters. He had nieces, nephews, grandchildren. He had a family that misses him beyond belief. At this point in time, I'm going to bring up Aaron's daughter, Erica, and his sister, Kim, and they're going to give us a few words about who Aaron was and why he was so special.
Good afternoon. First of all, I'm going to give honor to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for even giving me the strength to come. Oh my God, I see justice for Aaron Bailey. It's really kind of hard to speak because we're hurting so badly. But I know that just seeing the support of not just Black people, I'm seeing white people, Spanish people, all races coming out to support us. We need that. I'm going to be there for you, you be there for me. I didn't prepare anything, but just a week ago, we laid my brother to rest. When I got that phone call, I didn't believe it. I didn't actually feel the full effect of it until I seen his body laid out. And he didn't respond. He didn't say, "Sis, what's going on?" He didn't speak those words to me. I couldn't ask him, "What happened, Aaron?" He wasn't there to come back and explain that to me. So what I did is we got through it as a family, and now we're looking for answers and some type of justice. It's got to be justice. It's got to be some type of justice. He's not just another West Side shooter. He's not just another black man in a car. He's not someone that they thought that had some type of weapon. He's not that person. He was a person. He was a father. He was a brother. He was an uncle. He was a cousin. He was all of that to us. He was our protector. See, everyone don't know that about Aaron. He was a family person. Yes. I'm going to stand strong, and I'm going to fight for my brother for what's right. I appreciate Black Lives Matter. I appreciate everyone reaching out. I appreciate all the calls. I appreciate that support. Just saying, we understand. We're here for you. Thank you. That means the word. It makes me stronger. It makes me know that it's not just us. It's not just the Bailey family. It's not just my cousins back there. Yeah, they've come out to support us as well. What people don't know is that with this type of family that Aaron has come from, we don't look at each other as just, oh, that's just another cousin. That's just another nephew. We're all brothers and sisters here.
Amen.
We're strong. We're strong. As I said before, I'm going to support you. You support me. It's not just about my brother. It's about all black lives. It's about all of us. We all matter. My sister matters. His daughter matters. His sons matter. Your sons matter. Your daughters matter. We all matter. Right now, I just need you all to stand with us. Stand with us. We're going to stand together. We're going to be strong in this. I thank you, organizers. I thank you so much for reaching out to us. Thank you. Thank you all, and just keep us in your prayers. Thank you.
Hello. Hi, everybody. I'm Erica. I'm Aaron Bailey's daughter. And like my auntie said, when I look around and I see white people, Mexicans, and y'all hold up my daddy's side, when I get upset, I know that the world is not all evil.
We
So that I
stand by
can
you.
still open up my heart and be a good person like I am. Because sometimes when bad things happen, you don't know how to feel on the inside. And every morning when I wake up and I don't get a text from my father no more, I just can't believe it. And then I think about other little girls.
Yes.
And we gotta stand up, because if we don't, they might lose their fathers too.
Jesus.
So we can't have that. So we all have to stick together and be strong and just focus on the right thing. Nobody's perfect in the world as we look around. And God said that He will forgive. So when people go forward with the truth, I will forgive them.
Come on.
I just want them to know that. God bless.
Let's just take this moment. Just this moment. There were more than a few split seconds in that moment. In those same split seconds, Mike Dennison and Carlton Howard decided to fire into a vehicle and take a man's life. Not just a man, he had a name, Aaron Bailey. The man had daughters, the man had sisters. He had extended family, he had community members that loved him. That expression of love is an expression of humanity. And far too often, the reason why we shout Black Lives Matter is because that humanity has been denied. And we don't have families that we do not deserve the right to live. another day. We hear the rhetoric about whether or not he had a weapon. Him being born, being black, and being a man was determined to be a weapon.